Quick note before the video starts. I'm now offering to make one video each month based on a viewer's idea. Just support me on Tipeee and leave your topic suggestion in the comments there. Link in the description. The chosen idea will come from the top supporter or the one that best fits the channel. You can join in anytime, and your support helps me upgrade my gear and work on a big speculative evolution project. Thanks a ton.
Glacier Cap North is a vast, windswept polar region blanketing the northernmost reaches of Darwin IV. Perpetually locked in ice and snow, its landscape consists of towering ice cliffs, deep crevasses and glacial plains that stretch beyond the horizon. The sun hovers low in the sky for most of the year, casting long blue shadows and bathing the ice in a cold, silver light. Temperatures are brutally low, and fierce katabatic winds scream across the open tundra. Despite the harshness, hardy life forms have adapted to survive here, including slow-moving, heat-conserving grazers and burrowing aerothermal scavengers. The glacier cap is also geologically active, with occasional icequakes and the slow drift of glacial shelves carving new canyons over millennia. This remote, mysterious land remains one of the least explored regions of the planet, holding secrets as ancient and vast as the ice itself. Ice crawlers are mysterious, legless creatures that inhabit Darwin IV's glacial regions, often found in groups of around 30, resembling icy boulders from a distance. During winter, they hibernate in translucent, ovoid sacs that freeze onto the glacier surface, rendering scanners nearly useless. As Arctic spring arrives, most ice crawlers emerge, consuming their own sacs with hidden mouthparts before slithering away. One or two lag behind, bursting from their inflated sacs with a vaporous roar, then resting before joining the others. The ice crawlers display no visible head, limbs, or tail, only armored plates, making their orientation hard to determine except by movement. They glide across the ice at surprising speeds, up to 35 kilometers per hour, leaving slick trails and unpredictable patterns in their wake. Their crescent-shaped mouth lies beneath their body, shaving ice as they feed on microscopic algae within frozen patches. After feeding, they continue to roam, leaving behind intricate scalloped grooves and fecal coils that decorate the glacier's surface. The rime runner is a small, monopedal creature that ricochets across icy terrain, creating a blur of dark motion. Though not especially fast, it has evolved a unique, grooved foot pad that expands to grip the ice and aid in movement. Its dark dorsal markings give it a hooded, somewhat ominous appearance. Most striking is its detached sensory packet, a dome-like, parachute-shaped organ tethered by a neural cable, which glides ahead of the main body. This structure appears to mimic prey, and is periodically swallowed and expelled by the creature, though this is not a feeding behavior. The floating organ contains siphon holes and possibly a primitive eye, but its full function remains mysterious. Despite the rime runner's use of sonar, the purpose of this sensory appendage is debated. It may be an evolutionary innovation or simply a vestigial remnant. Its presence adds to the enigmatic nature of this glacier-dwelling species. The belly thrower is a fierce, predatory monopodalian from the northern hemisphere that catches its prey in a unique way. It lives in Planitia borealis, including the northern perimeter of the equatorial mountains and close to the tundra near Glacier Cap North. It is a rickettidal saltator. Darwin IV's monopodalians are mostly air sifters. An exception is the belly thrower, a fierce predator that ejects its stomach from its oral sphincter and throws it over its prey like a net, then pulls it in slowly, digesting its unfortunate victim even as it struggles to get free. Sedge sliders are large, 10-meter-tall Arctic creatures that travel in small groups, their glowing pink biolights shining like lanterns after storms. They appear headless at first, but their black, beaked heads slowly emerge from under anterior flaps, steaming briefly in the cold before cooling off. This retractable head adaptation allows them to survive deadly Arctic storms by hiding their vulnerable parts inside insulated body cavities. These animals move slowly, dragging themselves across the tundra with massive, hooked feet that work well on both icy and boggy terrain. They are among the loudest creatures on the planet, producing powerful sonar pings at regular intervals. Their shovel-like beaks are used to break through frozen soil and extract snowbulbs, their primary food source. As they feed, sedge sliders leave behind a landscape pockmarked with shallow holes, resembling an excavation site. One of the most fascinating behaviors is their use of glacier walls for echolocation. While most individuals remain silent, one stays near the ice, bouncing complex sonar pulses that scan in multiple directions. This strategy enhances their awareness of the surroundings and highlights the species' remarkable acoustic adaptations. The ice dart is a small, tundra-dwelling flyer from the tundra around Glacier Cap North. It has a similar way of feeding on icebound algae as the ice crawler. The ice dart is a lighter-than-air flyer that uses its hollow spikes to cling to the glacial ice during the fierce Arctic storms. It is thought to get its nutrients from algae and microbes frozen in the ice, since it is never seen feeding on nearby tundra plants or other animals. The tundra plow is a 3-meter-high creature that travels slowly across the frozen tundra in groups of about 6. It uses 2 strong flipper-like arms to drag itself forward, leaving long furrows and small dirt piles behind. These distinctive grooves across the ground give the creature its name. Over a third of its body remains underground, where a triangular bony plow cuts the soil, funneling moisture into specialized mouth grooves. A rigid, extendable tongue with a hinged ovoid tip emerges from the plow to extract Arctic vegetation like polar dots and cactus from beneath the surface. Every movement releases vapor from its nostrils that freezes into snow and falls onto its dark, glistening body. Despite its awkward appearance, the tundra plow is perfectly suited to the harsh subarctic environment. The creatures move only about 40 meters an hour while feeding, often appearing to make plants vanish into the ground. Their deep furrows are a signature feature of the tundra landscape. The mummy nest is a strange tundra-dwelling creature found near Glacier Cap North, first documented during the first Darwinian expedition in 2360. From a distance, it's difficult to tell if the mummy nest is alive or even organic, as it resembles a sun-dried vegetable husk. Closer inspection reveals a dim yellow biolight on top, suggesting it is or once was a living organism. The desiccated body stands about 3.5 meters tall and features twisted tubes, sphincter-like holes, and bizarre limb-like appendages, though its original form remains unclear. The husk appears dead, yet the glowing biolight suggests some lingering vitality. A small, dark hole beneath the light becomes important when a mummy nest flyer appears. The black flyer circles, then lands and disappears into the mummy's head, never emerging again. This strange interaction leads researchers to believe the husk shelters and perhaps sustains the flyer in the frigid climate. One theory proposes that the mummy nest and the flyer were once a single organism that split during development. As the flyer backs into the head cavity, its body aligns perfectly with the opening, supporting this idea. Some scientists suggest the flyer remains alive by feeding off the husk, which might still be living in a cryptobiotic state. However, no definitive proof exists, especially since only one mummy nest has ever been found. The mystery of their relationship continues to intrigue xenobiologists. The umph is a massive, migratory, tusked, herbivorous bipedalian from the tundra around Glacier Cap North. These 6-meter-tall creatures move in large herds of up to 200 individuals, migrating north in spring toward their ancient calving grounds. Their name comes from the deep, sighing sound that accompanies each heavy step. During fall, unths enter a rutting season, where all but the very young, old, or sick engage in ritualistic displays and combat. Trumpeting from their flank organs creates haunting, four-toned calls that echo for miles. Ritual combat between two individuals involves spinning, tusk displays, and loud bugling, often ending with either a charge or one creature lowering its head in submission. This intense physical contest is thought to release pheromones, serving both as a mating test and as stimulation for copulation. Not all matches result in success. Some end with exhausted or injured individuals left behind. Most participants engage in at least 3 combats over a 3-week period before the herd resumes migration to its wintering range. Unths feed primarily on snowbulbs, using tusks to turn the frozen soil and long tongues to extract moisture and nutrient. After several weeks of migration, they reach their calving grounds near the glacier wall, which, though unremarkable in appearance, seems to be a traditional, trusted location. There, the unths carve out nesting cavities and regurgitate snowbulb pulp to create soft, edible bedding for their newborns. Soon, the tundra echoes with the sounds of birth, groans, sighs, and pings that bounce off the ice. Scores of tuskless unth infants are born, and the herds transform into bustling nurseries. Adults take turns foraging while others care for the young, showing strong parental behavior. The young play and bond under the watchful eyes of their massive guardians, continuing a ritual of life that has remained unchanged for countless generations. The Amoebic Sea is one of the strangest and most unsettling regions of Darwin IV. Unlike a traditional ocean, its surface is covered not by water, but by an enormous gelatinous, sheet-like organism, a vast, single-celled amoeba that stretches over the liquid below. This translucent creature pulsates slowly and reacts to movement, with occasional waves rolling across its viscous body. Its cytoplasmic surface can trap and digest any creature unlucky enough to fall upon it, absorbing nutrients directly into its immense structure. The sea's bizarre shoreline is no less alien. The littoral zone is lined with mucus-wet rocks and organic residue, often strewn with the half-digested remains of animals. The boundary between land and the amoebic surface is irregular and constantly shifting. Strange, pseudopodic extensions of the amoeba occasionally reach inland, feeling blindly along the ground before retreating back into the main mass. Creatures that live near the Amoebic Sea are few and well adapted, avoiding prolonged contact with the amoeba's surface. The entire region radiates a quiet danger, where even the landscape itself seems predatory. Whether this immense organism is a colonial creature or a single unified entity is still debated, but its presence redefines the concept of life on this planet. The Amoebic Sea is not just a geographical feature, it is alive, patient, and always hungry. The disc flyer is a small, disc-shaped, migratory creature that travels in glowing groups, especially active at night. They are commonly found around the Amoebic Sea, forming dense clouds approximately every 4 kilometers, suggesting a possible territorial feeding pattern. Occasionally, they can be seen resting on the sea's gelatinous surface, likely to feed. In the spring, massive populations emerge from hibernation in the circumpolar tundra and take flight in great swarms. Their synchronized movements and glowing appearance make them one of the most visually striking species. The littoralope is a large quadrupedalian species found in herds along the littoral zone of the Amoebic Sea. It has a bulky body with pronounced hips and shoulders, short legs with long feet, and a distinctive arrow-shaped head with backward-facing protuberances. Its smooth, white skin can emit a green bioluminescent glow, a rare trait among local fauna. Littoralopes are highly gregarious and constantly communicate through non-complex acoustic signals. They are omnivorous, capable of consuming various materials, including the gel-like matrix of the Amoebic Sea. During the first Darwinian expedition, Barlowe observed a herd sheltering from rain inside the immense head of an emperor sea strider. Once the rain passed, the group fed in a coordinated line along the coast, consuming vast sections of the sea's surface matrix. The beach loper is a docile, omnivorous bipedalian native to the shores of the Amoebic Sea. It is a peripheral relative of the immense emperor sea strider, suggesting a shared evolutionary lineage. While specific size measurements are not provided, its bipedal nature and relation to the sea strider imply a considerable stature. Beyond its basic description, detailed information about the beach loper's behavior, physiology, or ecological role is limited. Wayne Barlowe's observations in his work expedition offer only a brief overview of this species, and no additional insights are available from the provided sources. The beach quill is a small, arrow-shaped predatory creature that lives communally in the littoral zone near the Amoebic Sea. Hidden about 30 centimeters beneath the soft soil, they form dense hunting rafts, often numbering in the dozens. These ambush predators rely on pressure-sensitive receptors rather than sonar, allowing them to remain undetected in a sonar-dominated world. When triggered, a beach quill propels itself with tremendous force using a powerful muscular foot, launching through the soil at its prey. Their short-range attacks are fast and lethal, injecting potent neurotoxins upon impact. After a successful kill, they regroup and rebury themselves, leaving no visible evidence of the ambush. Its limited range due to soil conditions confines them to the soft terrain of the littoral zone. Prey includes creatures like the keeled groveback, which can be overwhelmed by a sudden eruption of 50 or more beach quills. The attack is so violent that missed beach quills can bounce up to 20 meters away. After the prey is killed, some beach quills eat from the outside in, while others burrow in and feed from within. Within an hour, only bones remain, and they vanish once again into the soil. The beach runner is a small, swift-footed quadrupedalian that inhabits the sandy margins of the Amoebic Sea. Built for agility, it darts across the unstable coastal terrain, likely feeding on small organisms or detritus exposed during tidal shift. Its speed and erratic movement patterns help it avoid predation from ambush predators like the beach quill. The beach dweller is a sluggish, likely omnivorous creature that resides close to the moist littoral boundary. It is thought to burrow into the soft coastal substrate for shelter and feeds on organic material in the sand or the amoebic matrix. Its low mobility suggests a reliance on camouflage or the harshness of its habitat for protection. The sackback is a bulky, red, tripedal creature from the littoral zone of the planet's Amoebic Sea, notable for being one of the few sexually dimorphic species on the planet. Males and females differ not just in behavior but in physiology. Males have a large fluid-filled sac on their backs and roam the coastline, while females bury themselves permanently underground to reproduce. The sac-back's procreation ritual is complex and ritualistic, involving oral fluid transfer, gentle tactile exchanges, and eventual copulation via a distinct phallus, unlike the more common unfurling reproductive organs of Darwin IV fauna. Males approach groups of semi-buried females whose oral stalks and tentacles protrude from the soil, perform a fluid-sharing ritual, then mate with the unseen females beneath the ground. After mating, the male rests, often before moving to the next female in the cluster, sometimes copulating with several individuals over the course of a single day. Their glowing biolights illuminate these nocturnal encounters, creating a surreal visual in the dim landscape. Female sackbacks, once underground, never emerge again, having sealed themselves into self-dug chambers where they await insemination and eventually bear offspring. These females are distinguished by their longer bodies and digging flippers, replacing the male's pillar-like forelegs. Only their oral stalks remain exposed, acting as thermoregulators and visual beacons for males. Pregnancy in females appears to be extremely long, as no births were observed during the expedition's 18-month stay. If a female dies underground, her oral stalk withers and dries, an indicator for scavengers to dig her out. The emperor sea strider is the most colossal and awe-inspiring life form discovered on the planet, towering at an estimated height of 190 meters. It is a bipedalian creature that lives within the vast, gelatinous expanse of the Amoebic Sea, and its size far exceeds that of any other known organism on the planet. Its immense bulk requires constant feeding, which it accomplishes with its massive feet that function as feeding organs. These hollow feet are lined with thousands of razor-sharp teeth that shave off and suck up the gelatinous matrix of the sea with every step, funneling the material through oral tubes that lead up into the torso for digestion. The sea strider's body is supported by a dense and muscular lower structure, while its upper anatomy becomes progressively lighter and more rigid, helping to stabilize its center of gravity. Its great head is crowned with a graceful crest, gently glowing with blue bioluminescence. Breathing flaps, or gill-like structures, open and close in sync with its movements, releasing a resonant roar that can be heard from kilometers away. It also emits low-frequency sonar pulses via its blue-glowing pseudoarms, which sway in rhythmic patterns and may assist in navigation or communication. Their movements are slow and deliberate, echoing the majesty of ancient ships at sea. It is almost immune to environmental disturbances like wind or lightning, its bulk simply too great to be affected. Despite this dominance, it is not invincible. Rare attacks by coordinated skewer pods have been known to bring down even this titanic creature, though such events are exceedingly uncommon. Emperor sea striders typically travel in mated pairs, always heading in the same direction. They are attended by small, black, flying nymphs, bioluminescent juvenile forms that are born from eggs laid on the surface of the Amoebic Sea. These nymphs fly into the body of the adult through a chest cavity and exit through the upper gills, feeding on secretions inside the parent's body in a symbiotic life cycle. Their glowing tails and corkscrew vapor trails light up the skies, creating a surreal, almost celestial spectacle. The Amoebic Sea, with its unique consistency, appears to have enabled the evolution of such megafauna, absorbing shock and distributing weight in ways that would be impossible on solid ground. Without this unusual environment, a creature as massive and ponderous as the emperor sea strider would likely collapse under its own weight. The small, flying creatures that swarm around the emperor sea striders are their nymphs, juvenile forms of the giants themselves. These black, faintly bioluminescent beings fly directly into an opening on the strider's chest and exit through the upper gill-like vents, feeding on energy-rich secretions inside. Their glowing tails and agile flight patterns suggest a symbiotic relationship with their parent, receiving nourishment while aiding in some unknown function, possibly cleaning or signaling. As they grow, these nymphs will eventually transform into full-sized sea striders. The strip ewing is a nocturnal, flightless flyer native to the Amoebic Sea region, first observed by Wayne Barlowe in 2359 during the first Darwinian expedition. These 2-meter-tall, beautifully striped creatures seem to be caught in evolutionary transition, possessing wings they cannot use for flight. By day, stripe wings rest lazily on the gelatinous surface of the Amoebic Sea, occasionally feeding through their proboscises before returning to idle bobbing and sleep. At night, they become highly active, unfurling their glowing wings and erupting into chaotic, energetic movement. In flocks, they bound, leap, and tumble across the gel's surface in wildly erratic patterns, engaging in what appears to be playful or ritualistic behavior. This nocturnal frenzy has puzzled researchers, with theories suggesting either courtship displays or attempts to chase airborne microprey. As dawn approaches, the stripe wings grow tired, fold their wings, and return to sleep, forming quiet, compact shapes floating on the sea.